Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having an absolutely fantastic day. We're back again with more Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, and this time, want to revisit Woljif. As promised, we're going to do a build that specifically focuses on his ability to use two daggers. And again, he starts out an Eldritch Scoundrel, gets a bunch of great things that actually helps you more when you're doing melee damage as opposed to focusing on spells. So he has the feats 2-weapon fighting and double slice. Now, when I read this, it says you add your strength bonus to damage rolls made with your offhand weapon. And that normally you add only half of your strength modifier to damage rolls made with a weapon wielded in your offhand. I don't read anything about this counting for dexterity, but I had multiple people reach out in the comments and say that I guess if you have weapon finesse training and your dexterity modifier is supposed to be used for damage rolls, then when you take double slice, your dexterity bonus is going to count for damage rolls made with your offhand weapon. I've looked it up online and I don't see that. I don't see anywhere in the game where it says it. But again, multiple people came back to me and said, hey, this is the way it works. It's definitely worth taking with a dexterity character. I don't see it in the log either, but your mileage may vary. Maybe double slice really does help him a lot. Regardless, he has it. And then, of course, he also has weapon finesse and finesse training dagger, which ensures when he is using dagger, his dexterity modifier is going to count for both attack and for damage. He gets a bonus to perception checks, gets a little bit of a bonus to defense when dealing with traps. Of course, he gets sneak attack damage added throughout his level ups. He's got Weakening Wound, which is going to reduce the damage reduction of enemies that he hits with his sneak attack. And he's going to get Evasion, which gives you a little bit more defense. He has cantrips that can be used, and he has Eldritch Scoundrel Proficiency, which just gives him simple weapon proficiency. And then finally, he does have the ability to scribe scrolls. That's all of what he gets at level 3. Now, we're going to do this a little bit differently than when we went through a caster build with Eldritch Scoundrel, with Woljif rather. I believe that if you're going to have him focus in melee, it makes more sense to just focus in Eldritch Scoundrel. However, I still maintain my absolute love of Rain's Legerdemain. Apparently, I was pronouncing it wrong. I think about a dozen people popped up into the comments and said, it is pronounced Legerdemain. My bad. My bad. Shout out to the subscribers, making sure that I'm doing things properly. Appreciate you all. I still feel like it's worth taking one ranking in Arcane Trickster just for the ability to do trickery checks at a distance. Again, because of the way traps work in this game, with the switch for you to disable a trap, sometimes being very, very far away from where the trap actually is and requiring you to teleport or ride walls or walk directly past enemies in order to disable traps, being able to disable those traps from 30 feet away is actually a huge quality of life increase. And so I'd say it's worth it to take one level in Arcane Trickster. However, if you do that, that means you can only get up to 19 in Eldritch Scoundrel, which means you're going to miss out on one rogue talent. I don't think that's that big of a deal. And then you also miss out on Master Strike. And this allows you, every time the rogue deals sneak attack damage, you could potentially flat out slay the target. They're going to have to do a fortitude save to negate the death effect. And it's going to be based around your dexterity modifier, which should be sky high. Now, on the one hand, this of course looks awesome. The idea of Woljif basically being able to do one strike and flat out kill some potentially tough enemies in the game definitely has its benefits. But on the other hand, remember to use this, most of the saves are sky high, and I just don't feel like Woljif is going to be massacring people left and right with this thing. So honestly, I don't feel like it's that great a loss not being able to take it. You can, of course, make your own decision. If being able to disable traps at a distance doesn't mean that much to you, by all means, take Eldritch Scoundrel to level 20, and that'll make this build a little more simplified. Otherwise, I'm doing this build, taking it to level 19, and then taking one level in Arcane Trickster. So let's go ahead and get started. So this time we're going to be leveling Trickster, and that's what you should continue to increase throughout all your level ups. And then for skill points, we want to make sure that we can get Arcane Trickster. So I'm going to take a point off of Stealth, and we're going to put 2 in Knowledge Arcana, then 1 in Mobility, and 1 into Perception. Now for spells, because we're focusing on melee damage, you want to focus on spells that are actually going to keep Woljif alive. So we're going to pick up Mirror Image, and then we're going to pick up Shield. Next up, once again, we're going to put 2 in Knowledge Arcana to make sure that we can get Arcane Trickster. We're going to put 1 in Perception, 1 in Trickery. The last point you can put wherever you like. And then for your 5th level feat, I go into Weapon Focus, Dagger. And then for your 5th level spell, I get Blur. And if you scroll down, I get Reduce Person. Okay, then at level 6, you should have Arcane Trickster available. So go ahead and grab your 1 level in Arcane Trickster. Now that you have the skill points that you need to get Arcane Trickster, doesn't really matter what you choose from a skill standpoint here. Since you're going for ranged Legerdemain, I would definitely recommend you take Trickery. And then, of course, you already know, I definitely recommend you take Perception. All the things that he specializes in are awesome. So what you decide to pick up is really up to you. If you don't have anybody else who specializes in mobility, definitely worth taking that for him. Stealth is fantastic to avoid getting jumped while you're walking around on the world map. So you definitely want at least 1, if not multiple people that are skilled in stealth. Knowledge Arcana comes up a ton in conversations. So it's definitely worth somebody who can answer. It's definitely worth having somebody who can answer those type of questions. And then use Magic Device. He already has the ability to scribe scrolls. So if you wanted, you could have them scribing more scrolls during camping, and with a high use Magic Device ranking, he would be able to use a lot of scrolls while you're going around. So by all means, no wrong choices here. Do whatever makes sense to you. And for your level 6 spells, I get False Life and Expeditious Retreat. All right, then at level 7, you're going to flip back over to Eldritch Scoundrel, and that's what you'll take levels in the rest of the way. For your level 7 feat, get Outflank. I highly recommend that all of your melee characters should have Outflank. It's going to increase the bonus you get on attack rolls when flanking from +2 to +4. And then in addition, whenever Woljif scores a critical hit against a flank creature, it's going to provoke an attack of opportunity from other characters who have this particular feat. Keep in mind, it works for both melee and ranged characters. So if you have ranged characters that are going to be closer up, like maybe Lan, when you're using a snapshot build for him, this is also great for him to have. He's going to be able to pop his arrow and take advantage of those attacks of opportunity. Then at level 7, grab Haste and Protection from Arrows, Communal. At level 8, grab See Invisibility and Greater Magic Weapon. At level 9, grab Improved 2-Weapon Fighting. And then for your first rogue talent, go ahead and get Fast Stealth. Woljif gets a lot of bonuses from being stealth, so it's important, since we're playing as a melee character, to ensure that he can go at his full speed whenever he's stealth. And then at level 9, grab Displacement and Resist Energy Communal. At level 10, grab Greater Invisibility and False Life Greater. At level 11, grab Accomplished Sneak Attacker. And then for your level 11 spells, get Dimension Door and Protection from Energy Communal. At level 12, you already have Finesse Training and Daggers, but if it turns out that there was something else you wanted to specialize in, like Kukris, for example, there are a lot of nice Kukris that actually do different elements. So I've seen multiple people talk about how they like taking Kukris and then taking the Elemental Barrage Mythic ability, which will take full advantage of you casting different elements, or rather placing different elements on a target in the same turn. So you can come up with a completely different build idea if you want to go that route, and it is available to you. But for this build, we're sticking with dagger, so it doesn't really matter what you do here. I just want to make sure you all knew you had that option. At level 13, get improved critical, dagger. And then for the rogue talent, grab opportunist. At level 13, if you have a pet, animal growth is going to give a huge bonus to the damage your pet is able to do, so it'd be worth taking this. Otherwise, you could pick up angelic aspect and stone skin communal. At level 15, grab critical focus. And then at level 16, grab heroism greater. And then you get a bunch of mass spells that will provide a +4 enhancement bonus to a particular set of, or to a particular attribute. So you want to match up with whatever you're missing. Like maybe Woljif doesn't have anything that's giving him a bonus to Constitution. You could take this to increase it by +4. Or maybe you want to boost his strength. Whatever it is that will work, that considering the items that you have on Woljif, you want to take a spell that's going to essentially fill in that gap. At level 17, grab Greater 2-Weapon Fighting. At level 17, take Slippery Mind. And for your level 19 feat, grab Piranha Strike. Okay, so for Mythic level 1, I know this will probably be kind of controversial, but me personally, I go for Enduring Spells. In this kind of build, Woljif is going to have this sneak attack damage. He's going to be able to go invisible. He's going to be able to take out enemies. The number one issue is, can you actually keep him alive long enough to be able to do that? And the number one way you're able to accomplish that is by keeping his buffs up. Mirror image, shield, all blur rather, all those buffs need to stay up in order for Woljif to be able to withstand the punishment that will certainly be coming his way. So the most important thing is to ensure that all those buffs stay up as long as possible. And this will end up helping your teammates because you're going to have things like elemental resistance, protection from arrows, things of that nature. So the overall team will benefit from those buffs being up for longer. At Mythic level 2, I get 2-Weapon Fighting Mythic. At Mythic level 3, I get Greater Enduring Spells. At Mythic level 4, I grab Mythic Sneak Attacker. At Mythic level 5, I grab Ever Ready. At Mythic level 6, I get Improved Critical Dagger. At Mythic level 7, I feel like you've got a couple of options that I look at equally. If you're still having issues with Woljif going down and getting damaged too much, you can take Archmage Armor. And that means every time he casts Archmage Armor, every time he casts Mage Armor rather, it's going to give him an additional armor bonus equal to his mythic rank. So obviously that increases his survivability. And you also have Leading Strike, which is going to put a 1d6 per mythic rank mark on the target that'll automatically activate whenever another ally is able to damage a particular enemy. So it depends. If you're having issues with keeping them up, take this. But otherwise, if Woljif is staying up just fine, I would go with Leading Strike. At Mythic level 8, I go with Flawless Attacks. At Mythic level 9, I would take Always a Chance. I can't show you Mythic level 10, but I would take Piranha Strike Mythic as my level 10 feat. All right, looking at the general build information, I feel like most of this is pretty self-explanatory. I've already talked about the things he gets right from the beginning. We took fast stealth, of course, because you're going to want to keep Woljif stealth as much as possible, and he needs to be able to move at regular speed during those times. Opportunist also ensures that he gets more attacks of opportunity, which is essentially more opportunities for damage. We take 2-Weapon Fighting Mythic and Flawless Attacks to ensure that the additional attacks he's able to make have their penalties reduced. And then we take Enduring Spells and Greater Enduring Spells to ensure that his buffs last as long as possible. Leading Strike gives us a nice damage boost to our melee attacks, and Always a Chance ensures that we can hit our melee attacks more often. And then down here for the feats, again, we wanted to take 2-Weapon Fighting, Double Slice he already started with. So with Improved 2-Weapon Fighting and 2-Weapon Fighting, it's going to ensure that he gets more attacks along with Greater 2-Weapon Fighting. And then we took Improved Critical and Critical Focus to increase the chance that Woljif would be able to do a critical hit with his melee attacks. Accomplished Sneak Attacker and Mythic Sneak Attacker boost the damage he does. And then we threw on Piranha Strike as well for the same purpose, try to ensure that Woljif is able to do more damage. And then Outflank, again, increases your attack rolls when flanking and gives more opportunities for an attack of opportunity. All great stuff for Woljif. So if we take a look at the spells, it's all stuff based around making sure that Woljif will stay on his feet. So we've got Mage Armor, Shield, Reduced Person is going to increase his dexterity, and then we also have Expeditious Retreat when you want to increase Woljif's speed, but don't want to have to burn one of your haste in order to do it. Then we've got Mirror Image, Blur, False Life. All of your team will benefit from protection from arrows, along with See Invisibility and Resist Energy. Then you can also pick a couple of people that'll take Greater Magic Weapon to increase their attack and damage rolls. Haste is absolutely fantastic. Great for you being able to just get around the map quicker, and it allows you to get an additional attack while also getting a dodge bonus. So just great stuff. And then if we know we're going up against a really hard boss, we can go ahead and pop Displacement as well. It only lasts 1 round per level, so you can't keep it on a whole dungeon for the most part. But if you know you really need it for the upcoming fight, has it here available. Then at level 4, of course, we want to use Greater Invisibility. It's going to significantly help Woljif do more sneak attacks, while also helping to keep some of the heat off of them from other enemies. So great stuff. And again, because it's Greater Invisibility, it does not stop just because Woljif attacks. He also gets False Life Greater. That's going to give him some additional extra temporary hit points, increase his survivability, and then Protection from Energy combined with Resist Energy is going to just give great damage immunity for a particular energy type. We also have the Dimension Door here. I haven't placed any slots on it, but there are definitely some areas of the game where being able to teleport is very helpful, and sometimes the only way to get certain items in the game. So definitely want to have 1 or 2 characters with this slotted on. Hopefully somebody other than Woljif can use it, but if not, you might want to replace 1 or 2 of the Greater Invisibilities and put this on. And then at level 5, if you have a pet, you definitely want to go ahead and have a couple of Animal Growths. Angelic Aspect gives him a little bit more survivability, and then Stone Skin Communal is great protection for the entire team. It does have a cost of 10 Diamond Dust, but honestly, Diamond Dust is plentiful, both as far as being able to find it in the game and also very easy to buy. So don't let that cost really hold you back. You'll have high stacks of diamond dust very easily. And then finally at level 6, you can put on as many slots of Heroism Greater as you would like. I just put on 1 so that Woljif can put it on himself. And then he's got a bunch of the +4 enhancement buffs, so he could just cast them all. They'll stay on for 24 hours for the entire team. And then depending upon what enhancement items they already have, it will increase certain stats for them and significantly help with your saving throws. And then one more time, looking at the items that I have for Woljif at level 20. This build, I was really going for the caster route. So it's not built around someone who's using the 2 daggers in melee range, but I still do have the +5 shock dagger, +5 scorpion sting as well. So that's good stuff. This is around casting. This gives him some additional touch attack rolls. This gives him a +6 enhancement bonus to dexterity and constitution. This is for casting. This gives him a +2 bonus to the highest current ability score. So that will definitely help with dexterity in this particular build. And then we took Rascal's Goggles. Remember that you get a 5 penalty when doing trickery checks at a distance with ranged Legerdemain. So having this +10 competence bonus on trickery is a big help. And then Perilous Shade. I forgot to mention, I think when it says Killing Blow, it has to be a melee killing blow. So that means every time we're able to kill somebody with these daggers, Woljif will automatically turn on Greater Invisibility. Great stuff. Very useful. And then of course he's got a Ring of Protection +4, and this gives him some additional sneak attack damage. So all of together, great stuff to help him do more damage and be an even greater boon for the party. Okay, so now we're in a combat situation. Woljif has only the buffs that he's able to cast himself. So we have all the +4 enhancements, false life greater, things of that nature, and all of them are lasted for 24 hours. This right here is Halo's Holy Aura, so that's just because I have an angel on my side. Otherwise, everything you see is casted by Woljif on his own. And you'll see with a full attack, he's going to get 7 strikes. And let's see, he dealt 66 damage. Then on the next hit, it was a critical hit sneak attack. So it dealt 118 damage. So that's what, 184. And then the Ash Giant record completely exploded. So it looks like he did total 214 damage to the target while only doing 2 of the attacks that he actually had available to go ahead and get done. All right, here's Woljif again. And in the second round, and this time he's able to do the full attack once again. And you see the Ash Giant goes down quickly. So that's 122. And then that's what, 156. So 156 damage. But again, he only attacked twice before the enemy went down. And then this is just leading strike activating. So he had 5 more attacks he could have done if that giant was going to stay up longer. All right, now Woljif again. And actually, we can't do a full attack. So, and we can't charge because we're exhausted. So he'll just have to walk up and do a regular attack. Still 60 damage. So still very decent. And it was a sneak attack. So of course, that's part of the reason for why it did so much more damage. All right, now it's Woljif again, and he has the opportunity to do a full attack. And let's see. So he did 60, 121, and then 178. So a little bit over 200, and that's not including the 34 at the beginning from leading strike. So as you can see, for single target damage, Woljif is absolutely amazing. He doesn't have as much reach as Greyboar or some of the other ones. So I wouldn't necessarily say that he's one you want to stick just in a crowd of different enemies, especially since, again, he's a little bit more squishy if he doesn't have his buffs up. But as long as you can keep those buffs up and position Woljif correctly, he will absolutely annihilate enemies with his twin daggers. And again, this isn't even built to truly take advantage of everything he can do from a melee perspective. I was using him as a caster in this particular playthrough, so you would have even better equipment on him and better daggers if you were using him for melee from the very beginning. So that is the build. I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback. Let me know, was there something I should have done better? Is there more that can be done to make this build even more effective? Looking forward to hearing your feedback. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like down below, share this content, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.